Objection! It is time to continue where I left off in this episode of Gyakuten Saiban. So who's here going to be ready for another continuous adventure of the Great Ace Attorney, The Adventures of Ryonosuke Naruhodo? So who's ready for all of this? Go on, witnesses. Your names and occupations. The name's Patrick O'Malley. I'm a patrol man on the sea beat. And I'm Lola O'Malley, the wife of our city's great hero. Could you stop biting on that cord? Is everything alright? Absolutely. You see, the two of us were just married. Just the other day, we had our first wedding anniversary. Oh, not that, sorry. I meant your husband. His exhaustion is understandable. Being a constable of London is one of the most noble, yet demanding duties in the world. Is that so? I feel like I've heard this before. A borough for off-duty days, every day is spent patrolling 20 miles around the city on foot. Patrolling local establishments, collecting taxes, surveying roads, inspecting the scales, planning the roads, filling the gas lamps, and extinguishing the lamps are all part of the job. Those are a lot of duties that seem unbefitting from heading for the police. Rather than doze off, I'd probably collapse before long. Of course, the constable's most vital duty is the pursuit and suppression of crime. Even if it is off-duty, if a crime occurs, it is his beat. Even if a crime occurs in his beat, he must assist in the investigation. Such is the proud spirit of the London Constabulary. He certainly seems tired, though. On the day of the crime, this couple was walking on the opposite side of Ryle Road. It was at this point that they witnessed the incident. Is it correct for Mr. Witnesses? Yes, it is. Right, darling? Patrick O'Malley, patrol one on the city beat. Ah, yes. Very well. The court orders the two of you to testify. Testify regarding what you witnessed on the evening of the crime. Sir! Witness testimony. Well, witness. Then it was our anniversary. We've been out for dinner, still in uniform. As we were strolling along, we saw two figures coming down to the opposite path. And all of a sudden, one of them fell over. The other dropped something and ran away. We hurried as fast as we could to the nearest police box to call for help. That Japanese man is the one who ran away. Pat and I both saw it with our own eyes. Now, where's the place of testimony? Huh. The officer's wife claimed they couldn't see being Sosuke's face. If what they say is the truth, then the possibility representing the closing army will be outright disproven. Indeed, after all, such an absurd possibility was non-existent to begin with. This must have been quite the ordeal for your first anniversary. It was, but I thank the Lord that we could have united together in the first place. I suppose being a constable in London is an ordeal in and of itself. Worry not. This testimony will soon be over, and then you will be able to spend the day at your leisure. And what's that supposed to mean? This lovely couple clearly saw the face of the man who fled the scene. And the face was none other than Sosuke Natsume. I don't believe I need to remind you of the weight the London officers' words carry. Even though it was the officer's wife who said every single word. With that said, I suggest you prepare your self-defense. Of course. Cross-examination. What witness? Then there was a... How that? We were still in uniform? Then does that mean you're with the police too? No, it's a shame, but women, children, and even the elderly can be police in London. Is it really a problem the children and the elderly and the police? But, you know, the uniform looks so good and bad. Right, darling? Yeah, at the time I had just finished up for the day. So we were planning to stop by the station and close before heading out again. It's kind of scary how suddenly he started giving proper testimony. I would have been okay with you staying in uniform, though. When you change clothes suddenly, it's like I don't even know you. That was a very dangerous piece of testimony. Anyway, you were getting ready to go to dinner after the finished work. Yep, really, I was completely exhausted after a whole day of patrolling. However, I swear, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to live up to this. What is that? It's our secret police handbook, held only by the patrolmen of London. Inside we have the great things to know as constable. I see. A constable patrols the city, working tirelessly so that he make no peace. And that's why I never tire, even when I'm patrolling 20 miles a day. If all it takes to help the people is to wander around the city, then by God, I will wander. I don't think you're supposed to wander. I just wanted that one single day to be peaceful so we can celebrate our anniversary. I'm always leaving her alone because of work's so busy. My poor beloved brother. Oh, Pat, my sweet. Oh, how lovely. and I was up here. It's a little annoying, too. Well then, what happened while you weren't walking? As we were strolling along, we saw two figures coming from the opposite path. Hold that! You saw two people. Yep, they were walking towards us on the football by Fire Road. There was this big, roly-poly person, and behind the fatty, there was a tiny little guy. She must be talking about Sasuke and the victim. Yeah, the victim does look pretty plump. Are you absolutely sure that nobody else was present on the footpath? Yes, sir. It was getting dark out, so the gas lamps were lit. Nobody else was there. Right, darling? Alright. There was a bit of fog, but Brian Road's footprints are dead straight, so visibility was pretty high regardless. Since the gas lamps were lit, we wouldn't have missed anyone lurking about. Answer this next question before you fall asleep again. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely sure, sir. As a constable on the watch for crime, I declare that I'm sure. My conviction is almost as strong as my love for Rolla. So the victim and the criminal were the only ones in Briar Road at the time. I guess that's the undeniable truth. It shouldn't seem though there was nowhere for these to run to. Well, Sasuke was able to get away, but then he got caught anyway. The situation before the crime took place and has been absolutely clear. Now, what happened next? Oh, son, I'm thinking right away. Hold that! The other person dropped something? Could you explain? Sure, at the time, I didn't know what exactly he had dropped, but when he got closer, we totally figured it out. Right, darling? Yeah, it was those old books. Oh, old books? Yes, sir! Several books have fallen on the ground around the victim. If I'm correct, this photograph confirms your testimony. Only when that evil Japanese guy did the deed, then hold that! You still haven't proven that it was the defendant that you saw. Well, we saw him. There's no way that it wasn't him. Look at the mustache. That hunchback. That sunken face. Everything matches. I'm pretty sure he's just throwing insults around at this point. Yep, he looked down at the board break with the most horrifying expression. And suddenly he threw the books everywhere and ran off. Really? This is bad. It doesn't look like he's lying. There's not a shred of doubt in this testimony. It's no surprise coming from a police couple. Go on, continue your testimony. Sir! We heard it's not good to the nearest police box to call for help. Hold that! Was your husband the one that ran to notify the police? No, it was me, the brown policeman's wife. Right, darling? Could you please stop? Huh? Oh, yep, I asked her to do it. My ship might have been over for the day, but as a policeman at heart, I still have a duty to watch over the crime scene. Indeed, preservation of crime scenes is an important part of a policeman's duty. So instead, I had a go for me. She notified the police in charge of that district. Sorry, what do you mean by district? Depending on where crime takes place, the investigation is assigned to a certain district. The footpath that the victim wasn't a part of my beat. So I told my beloved Rolla where to find the police box so she could get the policeman. Everyone said it's a good, so hit to the police box and got the attention of the police there. You could call this our loving teamwork. And thanks to your teamwork, the case was resolved quickly. You are exemplary citizens. Ah, you're making me blush. Right, darling? Oh yeah, Ron's the best. Just keep testifying, please. The Japanese man, the one who put an ice on with our own eyes. Hold that! Will you really be able to see his face that clearly with just gaslighting? Back off, you. You're gonna underestimate Londoners' eyes. What now? Hiding from a gaslight is more than enough, especially because a pest before was thinner than usual. The fuck. Go on. London has become famous all the world over for its fog, but for us, it's hard to see if it's a good thing. Because on days when it's especially foggy, you can hardly see your own hand. Okay, I get it. Just let your husband go, please. Every day, our eyesight is tempered by the fog. You're absolutely sure when we say that it was that Japanese guy over there, right, darling? Hello? Oh yeah, it was definitely the defendant. Look at that mustache, that's a hunchback, a second face. Everything matches. And the berry. Oh, God damn it. You and your family always getting in the way of everything. At the very least, we confirmed that they still confident about their testimonies. The man they saw fleeing the scene was Soseki. Is that all they have to say? How are you feeling, Naruto? Well, my first impression of hearing the testimony is that. With the way that they testify, I'm not sure that we have much room to argue. There's little doubt that they really did witness Soseki fleeing the scene. I had the same thoughts. But even if they did, that doesn't mean for us. What does it mean for us? I suspect that you were guilty if that were the case. No way! What am I supposed to do here? At a time like this, Kasama, what would Asuki do? I think he will search for contradictions in the finer parts of the testimony. What finer parts? If we keep badgering them about Soseki, things will only get worse. Instead, we want to search for any possible contradiction in their testimony. If we bring those contradictions to light, it will show that the testimony is unreliable. Wow! The only way forward is to find some sort of contradiction in this testimony. Otherwise, it's very likely that the trial will be ending early today. This is getting intense. Excuse me, Mr. Attorney. Can I ask you something? Yes, ma'am. What is it? You've been badgering us about all these little details. And I bet you think we're liars, don't you? What? No way! I swear I don't! I'm a policeman's wife and I'm telling you I saw everything. For example, hey! You know all those filthy old books at the crime scene? I remember every single one of the names of those books. But you're just going to apprehend me anyway. Now there's no need to go. Yes, there is. That stupid Asian doesn't know that this is what he's capable of. And even if I let it pass, Pat would take him down in an instant. Look, I'm sorry. Just let him go, please. Array witnesses were permitted to add the statement to her testimony. Now, will that please you, ma'am? Yep. Yeah, let me say it over and over. Right, darling? Yes. I remember now all 4 books of criminal Trump, go on, try me. Four books, there were only 3. Objection! Can you tell me more about these 4 books that have fallen on the ground? Of course, I totally remember them. Somewhere under the sea, Monsieur Someone, something tales, and a picture of something. It really does pay me to say this, but there's a major issue with your testimony. What? There should have only been 3 books at the scene of the crime. I happen to have a receipt from the used bookshop. Tattered Tales Book Emporium. It shows that what books the defendant bought on the day of the crime. And as you can see, there are only 3 books listed here. Only 3? No way. I swear I saw him. There were 4 filthy books on the ground. Take a good look at this photo of the crime scene. This corroborates the information from the receipt. There were only 3 books. You think I'm gonna believe that? I swear. I saw it! We can't put any stock in your observational skills at this point. And thus, your testimony to the defendant was the criminal you saw might possibly be another mistake. Objection! I must say, the most disappointing one among us is you, Japanese boy. What now? These witnesses saw the defendant fleeing from the scene of the crime. You knew that you couldn't disprove this fact. So instead, you decided to sweep that under the rug and nitpick the small inconsistencies. Is that about right? How can you see right through me? But your poorly prepared plan did nothing but backfire. What do you mean? It is simple. Our diligent constable's wife testified correctly. There were no contradictions. After the crime, there were undoubtedly 4 books left on Briar Road. Objection! But if you look at the photos of the scene of the crime, isn't it clear that there are only 3 books? Yes, there were only 3 books in view of the camera. In view? You don't mean... I have brought another photo with me. It shows what the victim was holding. This is... Sure to lies me. The 4th book. As you can clearly see. The last book is hidden behind the victim's body. Oh. I can't be! That's not going to be good. No, a bit. Herbs. See, look at it. Take a good look. Okay. It's just like I said, right, darling? You got it right, Rolla. You're the greatest. Shall we examine the defendant's bookshop receipt in closer detail? Witness, repeat to us the names of the books you saw. Monsieur Someone. That would be Monsieur Lecoq. there's something else. The Canterbury Tales. Somewhere under the sea. 20,000 leagues under the sea. So far, all of the titles of these books have matched the receipt exactly. In my opinion, that shows real incapacity for observation and recollection. Thank you. You hear that, darling? That's right. Reach. Here's for Rolla. Work. The one missing from the receipt. Don't think too hard now. The book shown in the picture is the fourth book. But this is mystifying indeed. I wonder why the fourth book isn't listed on the receipt. There is nothing mystifying about it. The victim is the one holding the fourth book. Therefore, this book belongs to the victim herself. So the victim was holding her own book. By the way, what do you think happened to the last book? As we all know, Scotland Yard wouldn't overlook this. I have it here with me, preserved as evidence. Very well, the court demands that you submit the picture and the book as evidence. As you wish. Ugh. And I got hiccups. That is all. There's got to be something in this book. Wait a minute. Look at this. What a terrible burn. Wow, it must be unreadable in this state, especially the latter half of it. It's a shame for this to happen to a good book. Upon further examination, it says the burn was rather recent. The book was worn recently, huh? Something until this bothers me. Well then, it's a good thing this game doesn't encourage a lot of examination of evidence. That is all. The prosecution has no further evidence. How can this be? This was the obvious outcome, Japanese boy. You tried so hard to put every scrap of feeble resistance you could muster. Your closing argument concluded with a red herring possibility of him taking the long way. Yep, too much. Hey, look at here. Come on. But in the end, maybe he's right. Yep, we only told the truth of what we saw. Nothing but the truth. Right, darling? Yeah, Rolla. Marry me, Rolla. Now, I'd like to hear the jury's thought on the matter once again. Need we waste more time before we bring holy judgment the Japanese devil? This will be the last time. Citizen jurors of the capital, we request your sage verdict. We've exhaustively investigated all of the witnesses and the evidence. There's no point in further deliberation. Naruto, this is an extremely delicate situation. I know, but it's just if it's just on a basis of objection, it will make things even worse. Why you're... Objection! Hold it, please. Too late, attorney. This cross-examination was your last chance at a rebuttal. Now that it's ended, the discussion of the evidence has been concluded as well. That may be, but I can't do it. The right words just won't come out. May I have a word with you, prosecutor? I believe it's a little rash to say that we finished going over everything. I shouldn't be surprised, considering you come from a lawless Oriental life. But at this point of the trial, a legal assistant should know not to open her mouth. I'm still far too inexperienced as an attorney. So, I'm sorry if it's such a problem for you, but I still need my legal assistant's aid. Naruto! The core philosophy of our empire is tolerance. I will allow the legal assistant to speak. Susato, if you please. Alright, then let's hear what you have to say, legal assistant. Where could you possibly see any more room for deliberation? Actually, new evidence was submitted at the end of the last cross-examination. And you mean there still remains evidence that needs to be examined, is that correct? You ready for this, Naruto? It's likely that if we fail to present vital evidence at this point, the judge really will demand a verdict from the jury. Of course, we'll be asked why we'll also be asked why the evidence is so important. I suggest you carefully examining the new evidence before we present anything. Understood. Thank you, Susato. Susato gave me this final chance. Let it go to waste. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Oh, come on. Be right back. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Very well. The court will allow the defense to present one final piece of evidence. Which piece of evidence holds most vital yet dormant clue that has yet to be investigated? Take that! That would be what is shown in the new photo of the crime scene. Specifically, the fourth book left at the scene. Objection! I do believe that we already reached a conclusion regarding this book. It's good that it is unrelated to the incident beyond the victim's possession. There's absolutely no need to look into this book any further. The court does agree with the prosecutor on this matter. However, the defense made a certain claim earlier. He said that there is a clue dormant within this piece of evidence. The court requests that you show us this clue. Are you prepared, attorney? Well, of course. Not at all. The prosecution is desperately trying to avoid further investigation of this book. I think that this means you're moving along the right path. Okay, understood. Attorney, the court orders you to show us this new clue. What vital clue is left on this fourth book? Kokorai! Got it! Will you allow me to show you the back of this book? The back? It's been burnt to a crisp. The book's in awful condition. I have to wonder why the victim will bother carrying such an unreadable book. It's definitely unnatural, don't you think? Objection! Unnatural. What about it, Japanese boy? Huh? Unnatural or not, should this burn have no ties to the case, that is not worth arguing over. However, you mean to assert that the burn of this book is a clue? Then that true is this clue supposed to lead us? A burned book. Actually, there is one possibility that comes to mind. It's a far-fetched possibility, but I had to run with it. Alright, the defense is prepared to share its thoughts. Now, the court must ask you to present one more answer, attorney. What is the truth to be gleaned from the burned marks of this book? Super relevant. I have no... One reasonable truth to be gleaned from the burns on this book must be the contents of the book. What kind of revelation is supposed to come from that? Maybe the person who was reading this book got so angry and set it on fire. There's no other way of looking at it. This book must be painfully boring. Damn it. Well, I suppose. Yeah, it's boring, I guess. I have no objection. Everyone seems to be okay with it. Maybe I was right. A word, not a huddle. I am not okay with it. Yeah, I thought as much. A freshly burned will call the adventure of the Lion's Mane. I think you do remember this book after all. God damn it. Yeah, I'm an idiot. One reasonable truth to be gleaned from the burns of this book is the true owner of this book. What? But it's already obvious who it belongs to, isn't it? The lady who snapped her clutching in her hand. I can't claim to know exactly how the book ended up in her hand like that, but as for who owns this book and where it came from, the defense may be able to make that clear. But how? Fine, I shall play along with your desperate scrimmage for now. But remember, that scrimmage may lead you to an unfavorable verdict. Attorney, your answer to the following question may change the direction of this trial. Who is the true owner of this merciless scorched book? Take that! That would be the landlords of Mr. Natsume's flat. The Gary Depp family. The landlords. I don't know if it's a wild coincidence or if it was fate. But among the 6 citizens chosen at this trial's jury, one of the Gary Depps is present right now. Mrs. Gary Depp. Me? Please, hold on. I am... You see, I'm not his wife to begin with. I'm just his maid. We can leave your old marital circumstances aside for now. All I need for you is to answer one simple question. Wasn't this book in Mr. John Gary Depp's room? I've never seen that book before. What do you think I... Objection! You must have lost your mind, Japanese boy. To defend his landlords? Really? You have no basis for your claim, yet you dare to point a foul finger at a law-abiding citizen. No forgiveness could be given to such an act. Objection! The two of us happen to know the truth. On the day of the crime, at about the time when the victim was stabbed, one more incident was unfolding in Mr. Gary Depp's room. One more? What in the world you're speaking of? A fire. Indeed, the whole fiasco happened in the blink of an eye. The moment the flames flared out, the whole room was engulfed in a thick smoke. Unfortunately, it wasn't long before the fire spread to the furniture. I ended up losing the adventures of the Lion's Mane, and I was just getting to the good part. The Adventure of the Lion's Mane. It's the same as the book we have here. Objection! Balderdash! All this means the 2 books are the same. They have been burned. That book was likely lost in the fire anyway. There is no possible way that it could have been moved to the crime scene. Just so you know, the cause of the fire was apparently a fight within the Gary Depps. I'll leave out the details, but the wife was absolutely furious. Even as the flames raged around them, she kept attacking Mr. Gary Depp. Wow, I could never imagine that, right, darling? You hear that? Roll as a pacifist that they can get. All of my favorite books. Oh, books are lined up at that bookshop, but now they're being sold by the flames, burned to a crisp just like that. And to add insult to your injury, my very own wife threw those books at me in her fury. She threw me back on the window, assaulting me with burning books. She threw the books towards the window, then... Oh, it can't be. The book flew through the window towards the crime scene. Objection! On that night, I briefly investigated the nearby homes in hopes of getting information, but I was not informed that Mr. Gary Depp's window had been broken. Right, and when we visited, the glass was intact. But at the time, the window must have been open. It was not. The crime took place on a winter night that could freeze any man to the bone. A Londoner would have never let this window open. Well... Are you making an earnest assertion, attorney? Do you claim that this book was burned and thrown out of the home by an angry wife? I believe it's possible. I heard enough. Now, you know all you see, right? The self-proclaimed Japanese attorney over there is nothing but a yellow-bellied coward. What do you mean by a coward? You say our home almost turned into a sea of flames in the middle of a fight. As you say, I'm pretending to be a maid to keep up appearances. No, that's related to this trial. You're just turning innocence at me. No, I swear, I'd never. To think you will insult a Londoner to distract everyone from the truth. To think that's going to find you don't see that you're a monster. He's absolutely right. We listened to this side of the argument just to be sure of our verdicts. But now look, there's only one person who could have stabbed and baked him in the back. It was the man who ran away from the scene, that mustached little man. It doesn't seem nothing. It's the truth. Yeah, you got it. Sure as hell. Huh? What was that? It would seem that the jurors have all come to a conclusion once again. What are your thoughts, Lorben Sykes? These further deliberations were little more than a waste of time. But now maybe we can make up for those precious minutes we lost. Hey, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't put down. After the trial is over, you can have your fun with that mystery once you return home. It doesn't look like he's willing to apologize for his impudence this time. Very well, now jurors, the time has come once again. Present your verdict to the court. Guilty. 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 The jury has certainly made its verdict clear. Another guilty verdict. And this time, Naruto, keep pacing forward. Susato, have you forgotten? This battle is far from over. Don't you mean, yes, the defense still has the right to closing argument. One more closing argument to overturn this mistaken verdict. My lord, the defense has our rights to closing argument. Surely you should be running out of seats to the seat to sell by now. This isn't the seat. This closing argument is for the pursuit of truth. This isn't the time to hang my head as long as there's a chance. I had to stand tall and keep pacing forward. So let's continue this on. The defense's proposed closing argument. Very well. A right is a right, after all. Here begins our second closing argument. Foreman of the jury, are you prepared to begin? Of course. Now, six jurors, the court orders you to explain the reasons and the basis behind your guilty verdicts. Here we go. Judicial findings. The jury's assertions. The criminal left evidence at the scene. It's those 3 books that incriminated him. If there's a possibility that someone else stabbed her, I could reconsider my verdict. If the window was closed when she threw the books, then it's not relevant to the case. Throwing a book isn't that big of a deal in the first place. I wouldn't kill the man. Let's wrap this up. Chop chop. If I don't get paid, I'm dead meat. That reminds me, I have a house. I had a house fire recently. I got such a noble cold after. It seems that your opinions have become more concrete as our second closing argument. Once again, with some exceptions. Our transfer student failed to break down the last witness with his cross-examination. There's no denying it now. The man who ran away from the scene was the defendant. Therefore, there was not a single person who could have committed the crime. The eyewitness account was accurate. That makes this verdict all the more conclusive. I'm afraid that's the only truth. In that case, in this closing argument, we'll have to prove that there's another undeniable possibility. What makes a possibility undeniable, though? You should already know the answer to that. To quote those ridiculous detective novels, you need the whodunit and the howdunit. As such, you must do nothing of revealing a name and a method. If it was that simple, I wouldn't be in this mess. But if you can't do it, you'll never find the path to the Great Turnabout. Ugh! The Great Turnabout! Roll Japanese credits! I'm sure that you're prepared. Sir, I guess this is the moment of truth. The one who holds the key to this closing argument has to be your form, Mrs. Garydeff. A book disappeared from the Garydeff home on the night of the crime. The victim was found at the crime scene holding the 4th book. There has to be some connection between those 2 facts. I have to get the one to prove this connection somehow. I'll use every method at my disposal if push comes to shove. Make sure you watch the wife's reaction when she is not testifying. Here we go. Closing argument. The defense's rebuttal. Hold that! But there was a 4th book drop on the scene. And just what is that supposed to prove? The 4th book just might be the property of a nearby landlord. That's exactly what I find strange about it. Huh? At the time, this landlord was in his room, no? You said that the couple set fire to the room to further enjoy their heated argument? I don't think that was their intention. Either way, it's obvious that either of those 2 were at the crime scene. Oh, right. In other words, they have a solid alibi. If they were unrelated to the crime, then the Japanese shouting is the only suspect left. I said that there's no more need for argument, I say. And I said that arguing is all I can do! Hold that! Are you saying that you'd be willing to change your verdict? Don't get too excited now. As you can see, I am not the only pragmatic, but also a modern woman in society. Okay? If I read the morning paper, I forget what it says by evening, so I don't bother reading it. See? You're a picture of a pragmatic and modern woman in society. That seems like the extreme conclusion. So far, I see sufficient decisive evidence to trial to a sufficiently suspicious man. So even if it were made some small sort of doubt, he has to be the culprit. Just now, a pragmatic and modern woman of society would think, don't you agree? That makes it a bit difficult for me to do my job. But I'm also a fickle young lady, ready to jump to the newest fad of trend. So an interesting new possibility may cause me to change my verdict. That's a bit of a tall order. It sounds like you'll have to work hard to win the heart of a city girl. Seems like a rise of rooming with expectation. If the window was closed when she intruded the bug, then it's not relevant to the case. Hold that! But it's possible the window was open. Of course it wasn't open. How can you be so sure of that? The prosecutor cleared this up a while ago, did he not? Winter nights in London are no laughing matter. You don't open the windows, Zoe. Sitting by a fire calls you warm as a winter pastime. But you can't be certain that absolutely no one would. Absolutely no one would open the window. Then why do you even have windows in the first place? Come now, dear friends, stop being so childish. Sorry. I have to find a way to clearly show that the window might have been open. Otherwise, I won't be able to win this guy over. Hold that! You say you wouldn't kill the man, but that book was on fire, wasn't it? Right? It was a burning, huh? I don't think that had anything to do with love. It was the fire of betrayed love, I tell you. Wrong, don't you think so too? It's not good for someone to betray his life, but wasn't it all just a misunderstanding in the first place? Either way, it was just a thin little fight in the privacy of our home. I really deny it has anything to do with the incident. Do what you want, but I'm a little worried about your wife. He's been avoiding her violent outbursts by just a hair's width. I suppose it's a matter of holding himself back. Let's wrap this up. Chop chop. If you don't get paid, I'm that meat. Hold that. Hey, what's your deal? Why are you such a rush? A man's life is at stake. Yeah, well, so is mine. Didn't I told you already? I'm a worker paid by the day. If I go home penniless today, then you'll find me floating in the Thames by tomorrow morning. What? That's how terrifying the missus can be. That goes beyond terrifying and right into criminally insane, I'd say. Let me tell you something he did to me recently. Huh? The heck? What's wrong? It must have been so terrifying that I blocked it out from my memory. Wow. I wonder if Rolla will ever throw Pat into the River Thames. You have an overactive imagination, Cesaro. But I have to wonder if there's a way to restore your 5's terrifying memories. Oh man, I had a house there recently. I got such a novel called After. Hold that! What does that have to do with your verdict? Sorry, what was that? Could you say it a little louder, please? So, could you tell me a little more about that fire? It was a winter of last year. My grandkids had lit the candles on my birthday cake. There were 75 candles in that thing. It was quite a spectacle. What? They put candles in a cake? Were they trying to summon some sort of demon? Don't be absurd. It was a celebration of my birthday. It would seem that this strange practice is actually a common tradition in this land. Back to the point. When I got to huff and puff and blow the candles out, I ended up huffing and puffing and blowing them down, still burning all over the room. Fire started to eat up the furniture, and the whole room was filled with fire and smoke. I know it. It really was summoning the eternal flames from down below. Oh my god. How do you catch a cold from that? Well, my grandkids were passing me buckets of water to try and put out the fire. And since the room was full of smoke, they opened up all the windows to let the smoke out. They opened up the windows. And my own bones were exposed to the harsh gust, and I froze to my core. It was soon after I carried to the hospital. Quite a first prison, eh? Yeah, that must have been fun. But there's something about what he said that speaks to me. So now we need to hood down it and hard on it, right? Somehow we have to show everyone some besides Sasuke could have done. But they're all just saying whatever they want. And there's some really set to their verdicts. In those situations, we just have to show them that there's some other possibility. So we need to be some other possibility and making sure their statements clash. Alright, I'll look out for something like that. For now, let's just keep forcing our way forward. Indeed. Findings, but well, that wasn't the most shocking event I have in recent memory. This isn't no place to be posting about your war stories. Well, does this have to do with the trial? What was that? Speak up, Sonny! You know what? Never mind. I can deal with this guy. But this old man's birthday memory may have been able to point us towards some possibility. Needless to say, the 76 candles when the birthday came around this year. Weren't the 75? Objection! There's a clear contradiction between these two statements. A contradiction? What in the world you're talking about? Oh God, I can't take it when he points his finger at me. Why? I really can't hear you unless you speak up, my boy. You're three, if I may. Yes? What is it this time? Were you listening to your 6th birthday story? From what I heard, he opened his window even though it was the middle of winter. That's true, but it was an emergency. There was a fire in the room. Then, of course, you would open the... Oh, no! Seems like you get it. At the time of the crime, there was a fire in Mr. Gary Depp's room. Mr. Gary Depp told me something very interesting was going on at the time. The moment the flames were up, the whole room was engulfed in thick smoke. He said that? Hang on! You're fine. May I have a word with you? Mrs. Gary Depp! Oh! What are you doing just telling me out like that? Just give up the main act already. There was something I wanted to confirm with you though. But what is it now? At the time of the incident, your window was open. Isn't that right? What? What is all that now? Smoke from the raging flames was beginning to fill the air. Under those conditions, you had no choice but to open the window. What are you talking about? Huh? Fine, I'll admit it. My husband really did rush to open the window. But of course, I kept throwing things without a care in the world. Even while all of your possessions were going up in flames. Letting your anger out is good for your health, so I had to throw with my house consent. That doesn't sound so good for anyone's health. Anyway, we've proven that the window was open. Let's have that added to the jury's claim. It's true, the window was open. I actually forgot that. Objection. Fuck. Hold that. Huh? As a maker, I don't make sense. I suppose that's true. This has nothing to do with a grudge. It's important that you compare all the years. All that! The 4th book dropped at the crime scene was hideously burnt. The title of that book is The Adventure of the Lion's Mane. That would be the same book your husband was reading, right? Yes, I believe so. And when you fought, you threw the book at him, right? You threw The Adventure of the Lion's Mane. I threw it. It was the closest thing in reach, so it was the very first thing I threw. And now that I think about it, it was the book that my husband had been reading, yes. Why didn't you just say that from the start? Because I have no memory of it. You know how it is. When something like that happens, you just throw whatever is available. I don't know how it is. Never mind the title. When the object given doesn't matter from the movement. Hang on! I really have to wonder too. Excuse me, you're number 5. Oh, I remember it all. All of my repressed memories are back. What? When I was listening to that old lady, it all came back to me. Don't call me an old lady. I'm a wife and a maid. That's it. He's not even responding to her bawling outburst. It was 2 weeks ago after I finished my work for the day. I reached into my pocket to retrieve the day's wage, but then I turned wider than a sheet. There was a huge hole in my pocket and all my money had fallen off. Wow, that's quite a tragedy, actually. Even tragedy doesn't do it justice. What? The missus was just in the middle of cutting up some chicken for dinner. I barely managed to mutter. I dropped all the money when suddenly the knife stuck itself in the wall and an inch from my nose. It's so terrifying, I'm speechless. I could really smell the Tamazin, I'll tell you that. And tonight, I'll probably be drowning in those murky depths. That's the real tragedy. I understand. And that's when I finally realized an angry woman will throw anything, blades and knives, axes and hatchets. Naruto, I want you to know, not all women are like that. Yeah, I know. Just often throwing the first blade they can get their hands on. Absolutely barbarians. At least lose an arrow once in a while or something. Who are we shooting at now? Now let's see. Now let's pay attention to what your I just said. I should try to forget about what society just said for now. Objection! There's a clear contradiction between these two statements. Contradiction, explain your assertion defense. You're 4. You're 2. I think this may be the new possibility that you were looking for. What did you just say? I may have found another way the victim could have been stabbed with a knife. And just what that is. The 4th book, The Adventure of the Last Man, was discovered at the crime scene. If it really did come from the Gyakuten home, then one can simply come to one conclusion. There may have been one more object that was thrown from that room. What? After all, Euro 4 said she had no idea what she was throwing in her blind hurry. Isn't that right, Euro 4? Just what you're implying. As soon as she realized the truth of this book, I wager she may have already begun fearing this other possibility to be true. Japanese attorney has to represent this whole year. Request an answer. What do you believe this object that flew across it here from the flat? What I'm about to say is absolutely crazy. I don't have any decisive evidence to back this up, but I'm about to make a serious indictment. This is a possibility we must investigate. Understood. The defense is ready to voice its thoughts. The other object that flew out of Gyakuten flat was... Take that! You're 4, Mrs. Gyakuten. What do you want? I think I should begin by apologizing. I'm really sorry about this. But I need you to tell me something. Look at this knife. Does it strike you as familiar? Oh! Hold on, Defense. What are you doing? Isn't that the knife that was used to stab the victim? At the time of the incident, the Garridettes were in a heated argument. Mrs. Garridette had cornered her husband at the window, throwing whatever she could find. The window was open, and the book she threw was the one discovered at the crime scene. Ridiculous! The book was found in the victim's hand. Did the book just grow legs and walk into her hand? Not even the business can make a book do that. I can't claim to know everything, but that's exactly why. It would be a fatal mistake to end this trial now. Oh! Answer me, Mrs. Garridette. Do you or do you not remember this knife? Sam. My lord, I would like to amend my verdict. I made a promise after all. You're too. And I will as well. This is an unexpected turn of events. I agree that it would have been a mistake to end the trial at this point. Foreman! Don't forget about me. I don't really think this old lady really did, but... Count me in too. I wouldn't feel satisfied with a verdict right now. Good show, all at once then. We done it! That was brilliant work, not a hoodoo. The jury's various changes resolved the defense's closing argument. Now, 2 both guilty and 4 both not guilty. Thus, the court acknowledges that the jury's vote is split and orders you all to continue the trial. Lord Van Sykes, do you have anything to say about this development? Could you please sleep that? Please. It reminds me of a strictly tasteless farce. A farce as tasteless as this swine floating in my glass as I invite it with a sigh. Simply tossing into hellfire that I wish cannot bear to swallow. Excuse me, Lord Van Sykes. With all due respect, the defense has presented a vile possibility. You call that a possibility, Foreman? I call it nothing more than the lowest of vulgar nonsense, but fine. It seems that we all have to review the relative location of the crime scene. The relative location? What is he doing this time? Think of the crime scene and the defendant's flat should be the obvious spot. Between this and one large street made for coaches, Flyer Road. The distance between the crime scene and the landlord's couple home is no less than 15 yards. 15 yards? That's about 14 meters. 14 meters? That's way further than I expected. Now, I'm sure I'll have the same doubt aside. That book was discovered in the collapsed victim's hand. This book was engulfed in flames, thrown by an enraged housefly, flew 15 yards, and fell perfectly into the victim's flower where she was toppled on the ground. Do you plan to tell me that this is your conclusive argument? Well, not only that, but as if chasing after the book, a knife also flew across the road and slipped right into the victim's back. Perhaps next you'll say a pig flew after it. Even those ridiculous detective novels could tell better stories than use illusions. Ah! I don't have a rebuttal for that. Even a prosecutor shouldn't be allowed to say things like that. Sasato, how dare you call detective novels ridiculous? I won't stand for this. That's the part you had a problem with? My lord, excuse me, but I can't hold my tongue no longer. What is a legal assistant? It may seem like a wild dream that a prosecutor, but in the new possibility revealed by the defense has changed the verdict nonetheless. Therefore, this court has no choice but to consider that possibility. And the only way to do that is to cross-examine Juror 4, Johan Garibet. What? You want to cross-examine a juror? Order! Why, this is absolutely unprecedented to have a juror indicted and brought to the witness stand. Objection! Could you please stop throwing stuff? Would be a complete waste of time. Lord Van Sykes. We were already in the middle of a witness cross-examination, and if the nonsense from before was anything to go by, she was throwing burning books and knives from above. Maybe we should ask the current witnesses about that instead. What do you think, witnesses? Patrick O'Malley, patrolman, ready to report. Huh? It was seen that he's finally awake. I'm so sorry for slipping through the trial. I've been chasing so many scroungers in the city. It's been a month of no sleep. London constables truly are heroic, aren't they? Rolla, I know you've been fighting this all along, but you don't have to worry anymore. Oh, Pan, I think I'm falling in love. Very well, the defense's request is denied. Instead, the court orders the current witnesses to testify further. Testify regarding the new possibility as presented by the defense. Sir! As Constable of London's police force, I can say that Mrs. Garrett is unrelated to the case. This is because her window is actually an awning window. Awning window. Besides, if someone was flying through the air, Pat wouldn't have missed it. I wasn't very close to the crime scene, but Pat was watching over like a hawk. I didn't blink or walk away for even a second. Nothing out of the ordinary, sir. Incredible. There were awning windows. Constable, you didn't report this to me. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You see, I was so tired. Tired or not, that makes for no excuse, Constable. Understood, sir. Sorry to interrupt. What do you mean by awning exactly? The same goes for you. Sorry or not, that makes for no excuse, Japanese boy. Sorry. Now the hood out. I just look it up. Do you remember the windows of the Garrett home? The Garrett's window? Like any other window, you can open them up to let in fresh air. But an awning window opens like this. That's right. This window's most defining characteristic is that it can only open at an angle due to being attached to a stay. Only at an angle? Seriously? Yes, that's correct. In other words, you hurl a knife or a poke at the open window, it would smack against the half-open glass and fall straight to the ground. No way. It must have been hard to understand coming from a country that knows nothing of windows. From the start, it was impossible for either item to fly 15 yards. At least not without shattering the window entirely. What? Look, Pat, that crazy yeah was like, what? Yeah, totally vanquished that villain. You're amazing, Pat. This is insane. And there's still much racism in here. A new possibility was thrown out the window before I could even cross-examine them. Now the defense decided to begin your cross-examination. Yes, sir. I'm into a corner yet again. Hold that! What makes you so confident in this claim? The reason is this. Inside the police handbook, we have great things to know as policemen. He showed that just earlier, didn't he? Did he? I don't really remember. As constable, worked tirelessly for the citizenry. That is everything I strive to accomplish. That's why I stand tall, strong for my poor wife. Yes, I tire no more. That's my sweet. You're so manly. Of course, I do it all for you, Rhoda. Oh, Pat, my sweet. I'm gonna be sick. That's not what I was asking about. I wanted to know the basis behind your claim that Mr. Gary Depp is unrelated to the crime. Oh, you should have said that sooner. Alright, tell me about that then. Finally! Now, I present to you my unshakable claim. I will prove you how relentless she is. I will really get to do so much that I will run out of words to be a wit. But before I do, I have one thing to say. What now? There's a sort of favor I want to ask of you, Mr. Japanese attorney. When you go home, I want you to tell your friends the tales of London's officer spirit. Sorry, but I only just arrived in London, so please, I'll let you borrow it if you promise to read it from cover to cover. I swear, it will move you to tears. All right, fine, I'll take it. Let me read this, okay? Okay. Hold that! That means that the window could have moved all the way, right? Exactly! It's a window for letting some air. It won't open very far. As such, if an item were to fly out the window, it would hit the window plate, fall to the ground below. If you check the map, around here is where any given object will fall. It's on the opposite side of the crime scene, I see. I wish I knew about this awning windows earlier. Oh, by the way, I have a question for you, Pat. What is it, sir? How do you even know about the window? What would lead you to know that Mrs. Garrett's window was an awning window? That's easy. Yesterday, I assisted with the investigation. What do you want to say? Hang on! Excuse me, Rhoda. Yes? Why do you look so happy right now? I was just thinking... The two of us really are lucky, you know. What? I mean, it's a shame that the lady got stabbed, but the crime happened just outside of Pat's beat. Is that so? Yep, because the Briar Road is the border between beats. Isn't that right, Pat? Pat! Yeah, right. Actually, the reason I helped investigate the garage that was wrestling yesterday is because that area is part of my beat. Wow, it really did happen right on the border. Pat, I'd like to confirm something with you. Which beat does the footpath just... Which beat does the footpath just in front of Mr. Garrett's home belong to? Oh, the Garrett's home? That would be my beat, ma'am. That's the first I've heard of this. If the lady has been stabbed on the other side of Briar Road that night, there's no way we could have headed to our anniversary dinner. Pat had to do his job after all. A commendable work ethic indeed. That's just what I expect from our constabulary. Pat always works so hard. It must have been God watching over him this time. Do you think so, Pat? Yep, I think you're right. I should probably keep a track of all this information. I'll take care of that. Case materials. Alright, right now I'll do the talking. Can I say that these two are getting me sick? Seriously, this couple is over. This couple is so corny. Ugh. This is called a honeymoon phase. Or they just want to get all lovey-dovey, god damn it! Besides, if someone was flying through the air, Pat wouldn't have missed it. Hold it! But the sun had already gone down, right? It should have been dark at the time. We were walking around looking for a happy stuff. What? A star that would guide us the two of us happen. Yes. I'm a flipping book cap. If a flipping book happened to fly overhead, it probably would have looked something like a shooting star. Let me tell you, if I saw a shooting star, I would have wished 3 times over Pat would become the chief of police. But due to all the fog and smog, we couldn't see any stars at all. Yeah, sure, not a single nickel book flew overhead of the crime. You are, sir. I swear on the starless London sky. It really doesn't seem like he's lying. Just after the witness the crime, the two of us rushed to the scene. All that! You were in the police box for help, right? Yeah, that's right. I know where all police boxes and past beats are, but it's not her fault that she doesn't know where there are any other beat. Pat told me where to go, but I got a little bit lost. Oh my God, you're so cute when you're lost without a clue. Oh my love, Pat, my sweet. Fuck you. You're gonna make me puke. Fuck you, you're gonna make me puke. You shut up already. Now the Hoodoo shares my same thoughts. Anyway, there's that, and it took about 15 minutes before I came back. Pat was watching over the scene the whole time. I was off duty, but I still did the job. For I am a patrolman. I didn't blink or look away for even a second. Nothing out of the ordinary, sir. How that? There was nothing out of the ordinary at all. Right, sir? I was keeping an eye on the crime scene the whole time. No person, animal, or thing got anywhere close. I swear it's the truth, for my name is Patrolman Patrick O'Malley. Well, that's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? You're perfectly normal. The Adventures of the Linesman was supposed to be in Mr. Gary Dubb's home. How did this burnt book end up in the victim's grasp? You were watching like a Honda. You must have noticed something, right? Maybe it just happened to be a different burnt book. But you still have to wonder why the victim would be holding it. She was carrying a bag on her shoulder after all. Either way, when I found her, she was already holding the book. I see. There's something strange about this testimony. Somehow the knife ended up in her bag and the book ended up in her hand. I feel like these two mysteries must be connected by some thread. Mr. Attorney, how about I ask you a question? Sure, what is it? You're doubting our testimonies again, aren't you? Huh? No, I wasn't really. Well, here we go again. Let me just tell you one thing. Don't underestimate me just because I'm a girl. I'm a wonderful police officer, so my testimony is totally trustworthy. Right, No, I don't want to hear any more excuses from you. I guess I'll just have to keep talking if I want to convince you. Do you mind, my lord? Do as you please. Add your testimony if you wish. Can I say that this is the most annoying testimony? This is one of the most annoying... witnesses that I ever encountered. Not that I could ask you to do otherwise. The judge was muttering something just now. Listen out real good. And you better get a clue this time, you stupid Japanese guy. Even if I let your rudeness pass, gonna lock you up. It sounds. Speak to your heart's content. I wonder what she plans to say now. My eyesight is the best. I just not great at directions, that's all. Hold that! It's not that I doubt your testimony. It's just... not right there. I saw everything, okay? That mustache-shelled Japanese guy just dropped his books and scamper away like a bad cat. Right. And I definitely didn't see what didn't happen at that. There weren't any burning books or nothing nice flying over by our road. Yes, I get it. But didn't you just say that you have a bad sense of direction? Yeah, I do. It's a bit embarrassing. Pat always gets mad when I'm late for dates. Oh, hang on! Pat, may I ask you something? Yes, ask away. Did something about your wife's testimony strike you as odd? Well, yeah. Now that I think about it, it happened that night too. The Rhoda got herself lost on the night of the crime. She went to the next beat over to find a police box, but it took her a pretty long time to come back. I thought she would return within 10 minutes. In the end, she took about 15. Pat, quit bullying me. It was all Handbook's fault, not mine. The bouquet? What is this about a bouquet? It was an anniversary present. My darling Pat gave it to me. He was picking out coins during his patrol for weeks and weeks just so he could afford it. That's a really romantic story, I guess. I have totally forgotten about that bouquet until now. I'm sorry, sweetie. It's fine. But that bouquet's a matter for the two of us to handle in private. We shouldn't talk about it right now, okay? That's disappointing. What in the world was that? Pat was clearly shaken about something. Well, I cannot say I know why. But I think we should press Rolla about that bouquet. Rolla, about that bouquet. Could you tell us a little more about it? Sure, why not? I ended up getting lost because of the bouquet I dropped. Hold that! You drop a bouquet of flowers at the crime scene? Right, I was really out of it at that point. I just thought, when we rushed to help, we found a knife sticking out of her. I was so shocked that I dropped my bouquet on the spot. It was too far from the light from the gas lamp, so it was so hard to spot. That's when you ran over to the next beat police box, right? Right? I came back to the scene with a police officer in tow. I saw where I had dropped the bouquet on the footpath, but when I went to get it, the corpse was gone. It's already been mentioned many times, but the victim is not yet a corpse. I was really confused until I heard a heroic voice calling from the other side of the road. I suppose that was Pat. Yep, in my clumsiness I came back to the wrong side of the street. Yep, in my side of the street. But this time it was the bouquet's fault, the thing that ended up there. So the bouquet moved to the opposite side of the Briar Road, huh? A strange story indeed. In the end, I forgot to go back and get it. You don't know how much change Pat had to pick up at the streets and buy me that. When you say bouquet, might it perhaps be this? That's it. That's the bouquet Pat bought me with all the change you pick up the street. I think it's better you don't keep telling everyone that part. Where do you find this bouquet? According to an officer report about the crime scene, it was found at the corner of the footpath in the front of young Gary Duff's residence. It was in the front of Mr. Gary Duff's home. because it was an area far from the gas lamp and wasn't found until the next day. The police believed to be unrelated to the crime, as it was on the other side of the road. Because I might be surprised I could be thinking that right now. For now, I don't think it would be better for the court to accept this as evidence. But the only evidence in that book is the evidence of our love. Will you please just shut up? There's just some fancy wrapping paper, but these are just all new newspapers, Naruto. Just like anything with stuff from Britain would look fancy. Yes, I suppose you're right. What's the matter? Oh, it's nothing. I was just wondering. Have you ever had roasted sweet potato? Maybe British newspaper could have made Japanese bread look like British pastries. Sometimes society really does show her girly side. Well, a British rose is more beautiful than I ever imagined. So this is a rose. I've never seen one before. Are you not interested in flowers? It's not that I'm uninterested, but I only really know three different kinds. You only know three, and that would be peach blossoms, plum blossoms, and cherry blossoms. Your taste seems to be a little too biased. Wow. We can see that thing again. You better give it back later. I'll scream if you don't. It isn't, ma'am. I wouldn't forget. This is getting too ridiculous. And don't you think this is kind of getting a bit far-fetched? Like, the Esoteric series before has been doing some far-fetched things, but nothing like this. This is getting too ridiculous. Even for Esoteric standards. Don't tell me that I had to present this. Objection! God damn it! God damn it! This is getting really far-fetched. When you were watching over the crime scene, there was nothing out of the ordinary? That can't be right. Oh, can you please wake up? What do you mean? What do you mean? Rolla, you said the following in your testimony. When you returned from calling a constable at the nearby police box, you saw where you dropped the flowers, but the victim's body was nowhere to be seen. Objection! In reality, the victim's body has fallen over on the opposite side of Briar Road. Such a tiny bouquet, and really not even a bouquet at that. I imagine that it was simply blown across the road by the wind. Tiny? Objection! Let's say you're correct. If so, why didn't Pat testify to such? Nobody approached the scene and nothing was removed from the scene. That's what Patrolman Pat said, promptly and without hesitation. But that bouquet was mine. It had nothing to do with the stabbing. That's the only reason he didn't say anything about it. It's not just a bouquet anymore in this mystery. There has been a very peculiar reversal among the evidence. Reversal? That's right. It was Rola's bouquet and Mrs. Gary Depp's book. Originally, when the Adventure of the Lion Maze was thrown from the Gary Depp's window, it should have smacked against the iron window and fallen on the west side of the road. But in reality, it was discovered in the victim's grass on the opposite side of Briar Road. And on the other hand, Rola's bouquet originally must have fallen on the eastern side of Briar Road, but in reality, it was found on the opposite side of the road, near the Gary Depp home. This is an absolutely impossible outcome. That is, unless someone picked them up and switched them. What in the world? What's wrong with you? It's like you're trying to make Pat out of the bad guy. She's right, we can't listen to the Minotaur anymore. The bouquet, who cares? It's all trivial little details. Looks like Mr. Gary Depp's wife has come back to life. No matter how trivial you think it all is, messing with the state of the crime scene is a crime in itself. It's called tampering with the evidence. And the person who tampered with the evidence won't come out and tell us why. It must be because they're trying to hide the reason that they did it. Objection! Tampering? I see you're excited to have learned a new word. This is getting too tired. You know, I never thought that an Ace Attorney game will tire me like this. No other Ace Attorney game has tired me a lot like this one. Because who do you think bothered to play this pointless little trick? On the night of the incident, someone tampered with the evidence. All of the evidence and testimony points to only one person. Don't you just love it when the whole trial goes upside down? Too much. Who is the one person that could have possibly tampered with the evidence of Briar Road? Take that! That person would have to be Patrick O'Malley. There's not a single other person who could have done it. What? A constable of London's police force? Don't be ridiculous. How can you accuse him of that? Pat is a defender of justice. He's a policeman who serves and protects the people of London. Rolla, when Pat asked you to go to the police box, you left the crime scene. That span of 15 minutes was only a chance for anyone to tamper with the evidence. No way, you're just spouting nonsense. I mean, That's right, it was that guy with the mustache. He did it. Objection! If that was true, then Pat would have witnessed it. I'm sorry to say this, but there's more evidence to the contrary. It was only after the defendant ran away that you dropped your bouquet. But... Objection! First, you indict the landlord couple, and now you're recently accusing the Constable of London. But your accusation is missing one essential element. You claim that they tampered with the crime scene, but you see, only someone who was hoping to hide something will commit such a crime. Yeah, that's right. We just happened to witness a crime. Why would I have anything to hide? For what purpose would you have tampered with the evidence? As long as you can provide an explanation, your accusation amounts to nothing. Pat must have some reason to tamper with the evidence, and that reason must be the key to solving this mystery. Naruto, do you think that you figure it out? An indictment towards the London Constable. You best hope you're onto something here. If you're wrong, this could be a little blow to your reputation as an attorney. Keep that in mind as you formulate an answer. Understood. When he tampered with the evidence, the patrolman was trying to hide. Okay. Where the book was dropped, where the bouquet was dropped, where the victim was stabbed. The book was dropped at what would essentially be his district. The bouquet was dropped in there, but... Think of where the bouquet really fell. Pat desperately needed to hide the truth of where it fell. Why in the world would you think so? Well, of course. My reason for thinking that is... God damn it, I felt... You know, if I had to guess, it would seem that you're the only one right on your own reasoning. In either case... There was never a reason to begin with. Yeah! Must get a bad like this to try to me. Think of where the victim was stabbed. Pat desperately needed to hide the truth where she was really stabbed. What? Huh? What do you mean by where she was really stabbed? That doesn't make any sense. We already know that since the trial started. She was stabbed in the footpath by Ryder Road. Pat and I saw it. See, right here. Everyone agrees with me too. Sure, everyone might have believed that at first. But the truth of the matter is, Meridian Green was not stabbed at this occasion. Huh? What? My word, what kinds of twists and turns will this trial take next? Japanese boy, you have further explanation to do. Explain your assertion. Where was the true scene of the stabbing? Take that! You'll say the crime actually occurred on the opposite side of the crime scene. What are you implying? On that night, where the book was thrown from Mr. Garrida's home and fell straight to the ground, the bouquet of flowers that Roller dropped didn't move at all. What really moved was the scene of the crime. What in blazes? Objection! It looks like you haven't been listening to the testimony so far. These two fine citizens witnessed the very moment of the crime. He's right, we totally saw him. It was 5 o'clock in the evening. The sun had already set, and London's famous fog rolled in. When you two witnessed the crime, you actually ran straight towards the western footpath along Briar Road. No, wait, that can't be right. Pat entrusted you with the task of finding a constable, keeping you away from the scene. And in the 15 minutes between then and your return, he moved the crime scene. The victim's body in the report book, as shown in this crime scene photo, were moved to the eastern footpath of Briar Road. Unbelievable. But Pat overlooked one minor detail. Overlooked what? Would you be referring to this bouquet? Yes, that's correct. Earlier, the prosecutor said something about the bouquet. Because the bouquet was far away from any lands, it wasn't discovered until next morning. He overlooked it because it was too dark to see that. Thus, only this bouquet remains. It was the only remnant of the crime scene left on the west side of Briar Road. Those are the defense's thoughts on the matter. Did I hit the mark, Patrick O'Malley? Oh, sorry. Really, so sorry. Here I am sleeping at a vital moment. But you see, I haven't slept in a full month. Pat, he's lying, isn't he? That attorney can't be right. Pat, you always fought so hard for justice. I was dreaming. I had an awful nightmare. I dreamed that everything I did that evening would be found out in court. But I guess it wasn't just a dream after all. What in blazes? Order! What in blazes? What in the world is going on here? This is just... Pat, why? Why would you do something like that? Isn't tampering with dead bodies a crime? She still doesn't know that the victim's not dead, I guess. Constable, why on earth you do that? You're supposed to be an upright policeman, working for the sake of the citizenry. Why? I can't tell you why. What do you mean you can't? I'm really sorry. This is all my fault. I saw it's Scotland Yard's good name. One possibility does come to mind. On that night, there might have been a good reason that Pat had to move the crime scene. Impossible. How would you know why? A damn gap like you knows nothing of the instance of good London's constable's minds. Say what you may, but our attorney is the one who brought the truth to light. The court believes that there is worth asking for his thoughts. Defense. Sir. Now, the court requests that you present evidence. Understood. Whenever they be British or Japanese, all people share the same feelings. And I think I'm beginning to understand Pat's feelings from that night. What evidence will it reveal, man? Take that! Maybe you're right, you Londoners. I'm just an outsider. And because of that, it wasn't until today that I learned about the London Constabulary. It's one of the most noble yet demanding duties in the world. They patrol the city to maintain order, all while doing odd jobs for its history. Yet those young constables are driven by the many duties they must undertake daily. But for Pat, that fateful night was a special time. Special? And is this bouquet would make that fact made very clear. Oh, that was for her first anniversary. Pat did all he could to prepare a gift for such a special day, and the two of them went out for dinner to celebrate their anniversary. But then, they came upon the crime scene from Briar Road. They witnessed a young woman falling under the gas lamps in the tin fog. What do you think was going through Pat's head at this moment? I just wanted that one single day to be peaceful so we could celebrate our anniversary. I'm always leaving her alone because of work. It's so busy, my poor beloved Rhoda. This is the police handbook that Pat presented. There's a manual inside called Things to Know as a Constable. It reads, if a constable discovers an incident in his beat, he must assist in the initial investigation. Ah, this is why, isn't it, Pat? This is why you moved the crime scene. Well, you've seen right through me. So that's the problem. The investigation wasn't his beat. Oh, that's right. At first, I know this is awesome. Pat was supposed to lead the investigation as the beat's constable. I see. Then, Patrolman O'Malley, did you? At the time, for the first time after I got my dream job as a constable, I started to pray. Rhoda, stay close to me. The criminal might still be on the scene. When I ran to the crime scene, I was acting not as a husband, but as a policeman. We had to hurry up and notify the police. And then I realized the significance of where the victim collapsed. If a constable discovers an incident in his beat, he must assist in the initial investigation. Why did this have to happen here? Today of all days! Why? Tonight was... one day I needed peace. There has to be a policeman guarding the crime scene at all times. So I told Rolla to go to the police box and bring the officers over. And then, when I opened my mouth to speak, I shouted words that even I disgusted by. This road is part of the next beat over, Rolla. Go to that beat's police box. Take a ride on Mershon Road. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Man, I just wanted to enjoy a nice dinner with Rolla, no matter the cost. Oh, Pan, that was just the one day that I needed peace. If the incident had occurred in your beat, you wouldn't have been able to celebrate. Thus, you choose to move the crime scene to the beat on the eastern side of Briar Road. To be honest, At the time, I thought the victim was dead. Really? Of course he did, because I know that I probably leave a stab victim in the cold hard ground. Yes, I suppose you're right. But either way, God is punishing me for my actions now. I can't believe it. Out of everything at a crime scene, the one thing I forgot was the bouquet I bought for her. No, Pat, that was my fault. I was the one who dropped the bouquet out of sight. I'm sorry, Pat. I have one more question, Pat. How many books did you move to the opposite side of the road? Oh, I think it was 4. As you recall, Soseki dropped 3 books, so the remaining 1 book was dropped from Mr. Gary Depp's room. That would account for all 4 books. But why did you leave this book in the victim's hand? The other 3 books were scattered around the crime scene. Well, that's just how I found it. Explain what you mean by that. When we ran over to the crime scene, the victim was holding on to this book. So when I moved her, I just left her the same as I found her, holding the book. Just to confirm, the victim was holding The Adventures of the Lion's Mane? Yes, I'm absolutely certain. I wonder what this means. At the time, I thought that this would be an open and shut case. There were only 2 people at the crime scene. Even Rolla saw that. No matter how much I thought about it, it must have been the guy that ran away. I figured that even if I changed the location of the crime scene, it was only a trivial matter. Wow, this really is for me, huh? My lord. What is it, Lordman Sykes? This cross-examination is over. Huh? Constable, you may step down now. Sir! Mr. Prosecutor, what's going to happen to my pet? You're free to go home for today. Expect contact for the yard. Please forgive him for what he's done. It's not Pat's fault. I'm always complaining to him because he's never at home. It's okay, Rolla. Let's go home. Okay. Patrolman O'Malley. Sir! I hope this incident has helped you realize that when it comes to a crime investigation, there's no such thing as a trifling matter. Yes, sir. You do well to bear that truth in mind for a long time to come. After all, you don't want to repeat the same mistake at any other crime scene. Repeat? Then... Hurry and step down. You're delaying the trial. Sir! As astonishing truth has been made clear in our court today, the crime scene was temporarily avoided by a third party. However, one truth remains unchanged. The only person who could have committed the crime is still Soseki Natsume. Objection! Don't you think the word only is a little misleading? Now that the location of the crime scene has changed, there should have been one more person who could have possibly stabbed the victim. If I may, perhaps you've already realized as well, Prosecutor Van Sykes. Lord Van Sykes, is it true? Very well. Present his or her name then, if there happens to be any merit in your indictment. The prosecutor will consent to continuing these proceedings. Who's the other person that could have committed this crime? Take that! The defense is ready to call this witness once again. Once again? Just as my legal assistant proposed earlier, there is only one witness that can bring the truth to light. We need to hear your forced testimony. Come to the stand, Johan Gary Dab. What? Hi. Objection! As I recall, your request was already overruled. Objection! But we have new information now. The situation is entirely different. Mrs. Garrydale, may I have a moment? What do you want? When the crime was committed, you and your husband were fighting. During your fight, a fire broke out in your home. Mr. Garrydale opened the window facing Briar Road so that the smoke could escape. And what of it? You threw this book at your husband, who you had cornered at the window. The book then hit the awning window and fell straight to the ground. And, as we have just established, the place it fell was exactly where the crime really took place. And again, what of it? You said that you were blinded by rage during the fight, yes? And you didn't just throw books, you threw anything you could get your hands on. I want you to confirm this for me one more time. This knife is the one found in the victim's sack. Are you absolutely sure that you don't recognize it? Yes, I'm sure. How am I supposed to remember what I threw at him? Anyway, didn't the prosecutor say yours shouldn't have to testify? Well, objection! I remember saying nothing of the sort, Juror 4. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do not misunderstand. You are not above the law. If you remember this night, then you will do as well to tell us the truth. You can get a knife like that just about anywhere. We have so many of those at home. One or two went missing. We wouldn't even notice. What? For real? My word. Furthermore, the thought that I hurt someone, I just can't handle the idea. It's too much. Joanne. Alright, go ahead. Hurry and show me your decisive evidence. I want you to show me conclusively whether that knife was really one of the things I threw. You do it now, Hudo? If I had the kind of evidence, I had thrown it at her ages ago. In that case, it's time for you to come to the witness stand, Juror 4. What? The prosecution agrees that this juror must be cross-examined. Prosecutor Van Sykes. Me? Testify. Juror 4, you have witnessed the entirety of today's case from your seat on the jury. You have seen the miraculous moment where, from our witnesses' testimony, a truth was gleaned that even the witnesses themselves were not aware of. Oh. Thus, it is paramount that you testify to the best of your ability. Once you do, I'm sure that the court will be able to find the truth. Prosecution Defense, are you in agreement? You are correct. The defense agrees. What is this feeling? For the very first time since we arrived in this country. I finally feel like a real attorney fighting in the courtroom. Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir. My name is Joanne Garrydep. Yes. My occupation. At the moment, I suppose I'm a juror. It looks like even she's confused about whether she's a housewife or a maid. Henceforth, the court expects your testimony. Is that acceptable? Yes, my lord. On the evening of the crime, something transpired in the Gyakuten home. You should tell us the entire truth. Do not try to withhold even a single detail. What's the matter, Joanne? There's nothing to be scared of now. Oh, dear, you were here all along. I was with her at the time of the crime. Thus, I'm ready to testify alongside you, Joanne. Dear, what about your leg? Oh, please, I'm fine. I can't let you suffer up here all alone, can I? Dear. I presume you must be Mr. Joe Gyakuten, then. Sir, fourth number Land Fusilier Battalion Captain of the 3rd Platoon. I survived countless battles. Now that I'm retired, I live a quiet life here in London. It seems you were subjected to your wife's concentrated barrage in your very own home. Well, I suppose you could see it that way. You're standing as a witness. This is the first time since the founding of our British courts. It's an absolute unprecedented situation. However, as today's final witness, you two are ordered to give your testimonies. Testify regarding what happened in your home as the crime took place. Sir, loud and clear, my lord. Yes. The War of the Gyakuten home. I forget the reason, but my own wife and I started fighting. Our candlestick fell over, lighting the carpet on fire. I put out the fire and ran to open a window. Meanwhile, I took aim and threw everything I could at this poor man. There were plenty of knives in our room, so we wouldn't notice if one went missing. If the weapon was one of our knives, I want you to prove it with evidence. It appears that your home really was the scene of a bloody battle. On the contrary, it appears to have been more of a one-sided assault. I am forced to admit that my platoon was at a perious disadvantage. If our armistice had been delayed even for a minute, it would have been engulfed in flames. But really, if this old man was pressed to say, in the brief moment like those, out of the line between life and death on the battlefield. I never heard of a married couple's argument described like that. However, with just this testimony, it will be difficult to produce evidence of the weapon. They say that in battle, a man finds himself lost in the fog of war. He loses sight of all else. Whereas there's little point in demanding any further testimony from this too. I'm getting the same feeling. If that's what you believe, then the two of us will have to reach the final truth with this cross-examination. Yeah, you're right. Now, defense, begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination. When I see that part where they show their faces, I don't know, when I see Naruto's face, I see more of Apollo's face than Phoenix's face. Could this mean that Apollo and Phoenix could be related? Because if you see Naruto as a whole, he looks like a combination of Phoenix and Apollo. Am I the only one that sees that? How that? I believe you told us a reason you... Phoenix is a brother. Seriously, Naruto looks like a combination of both. Maybe you told us the reason yesterday. Yes, if I recall correctly, it was all started with a letter wedged inside a book. That's it. It apparently contained a passionate message addressed to Mr. Gyakuten, and that secret was his was discovered by his wife. As a result, he became the victim to many repeated slaps to the face. Terrifying for sure. A hell of his own making. I was trying to act like I forgot, but you just have to tell everyone. and so what you said wasn't even right. Is that so? I think the reason for the fight goes deeper than we will ever know. So what happened after this violent barrage of slapping? Our cat and the stand fell over and lighting the car on fire, but I put out the fire and ran open the window. How that? The fire also spread to the furniture, right? It mostly caught onto my things for whatever reason. That includes my bookshelf and chair. Conveniently, we had water for bathing at the time, so we used that to extinguish the blaze. That sounds like a difficult situation. Our house is on the third floor, and the city water lines still haven't been connected here. During the afternoon, we have to go to the water to get water. I don't know if this is an error or not. We always tell our tenants that they can't use the water during the evening. But apparently, that mustache Japanese man was buying water for himself. You mean the defendant, Sosuke? He says he gets some kind of exchange during allowance for his homeland. It must be nice to be able to enjoy black tea in the evening. I'm not sure nice is a word could use to describe the situation. I was under the impression that he used his whole allowance on books. In any case, I threw water all over the burning room. Meanwhile, I took aim and threw everything I could to this poor man. How that? You did this in while your carpet and furniture were on fire? To be honest, at the time, I was more concerned with throwing and killing. Just so you know, the philosophy behind Saratas is totally different. It's like you can read my mind! Try to remember something for me. Was a knife among the things you threw? I honestly don't remember, but I'm not that much of a monster. Bread, cabbage, garlic, towels, sponges, napkins. Hang on! Excuse me, Mr. Gary Depp. Mr. Gary Depp! What do you want? Was there something that caught your attention about your wife's testimony just now? Well, you must know, my memory does differ from hers, just a tad. She mainly threw all heavy objects, books, firearms, bricks, and so on. What? Not only that, you got impeccable aim. You had! We're in a card room! Oh, goodness me. I'm so sorry, my knee. Oh, dear. He's still doing this! But you see, there is no possible way I could throw heavy things like that. Well, if you take a look at this, you'll get the idea. What happened to your pipe? At the time, I was holding my pipe like so. When I was subjected to a horrible barrage, it flew out of my hand. I accidentally stepped on it while I was trying to pick it up, and it split right into two. The pipe just broke in half. Some hard object hit my pipe, knocking it out of my hand. I patched it up with some tape as a quick fix. Honestly, dear, you really like to make such a fuss about out of the little things in life. I wonder if Mr. Gary Depp's testimony just now was important at all. The defense believes that there is a profound meaning in that last statement. Objection! There is only one bit of knowledge to glean from the retired soldier's statement. Defying your furious wife will only result in a broken heart and a broken pipe. That's all there is to it. You will find no other meaning, profound or otherwise. Indeed, any husband will already know this fact. I'm not so sure about that. Would you at least allow us to take a look at that broken pipe? Of course, I don't mind. There you go again. You're always going on about your way to please younger women. Very well, the court shall accept this as evidence. I hope you don't mind my sudden intrusion. Oh, okay, that's actually really good. Hello, Rams 2000. Hello. There's a bit of pipe missing here. It seems like it's been damaged recently. And then, hello. Hey. Also, inspection is second has a little grace everywhere. It must be well used. No, if you think about it, maybe something is only well used once it's been scratched a lot over time. As for this, rest in peace. The fact that the one is so new is starting to make me wonder. So, how are you? With the way this tape works, the bandages can't help but feel bad for the poor pipe. Do you notice that Mr. Garrett's pipe and robe are the same color? It almost feels ominous. I wonder if he's trying to hint to something here. He still uses it, even after it broke in half. It must have been something very important to him, filled with memories. Or maybe he just can't afford a new one. Well, I've been playing this game for a long time, and I gotta say I'm intrigued. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Attorney games, and I've played almost every one of them. From the main series, to the investigation games, to even Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. And I'm really anxious to see the sequel, this one, soon, once they finish the translation for that one. Yeah, once they finish the translation for the sequel in a few years. Wait, there's something here. Huh? I think I just saw something reflect in the light inside the pipe. Yes, I saw it too. It looks to be stuck inside of the wall of the pipe. I'll turn it upside down and check it. Oh, what is this? It's a metal fragment. If I had to guess, it probably broke off some kind of blade. A blade, this is what I think it is. Yeah, me too, but come on, it's going to take a few years for that to happen. This just happened to spend also years in order to be released. All of the Ace Attorney games that have been translated to English by fans, and by that I mean 2, the second investigations, and this one took years. Just until recently they finally translated the 5th case of this game. This is the fragment that we found inside Mr. Garrett's pipe. It's like the tip of some kind of blade. You know, if it's the tip of the blade, have you thought of something? Well, it's just, there's something about this that I just can't get my mind on. You think it might be onto something? And maybe just look at it with the other evidence you have in hand. Yeah. Now take a look at the tip of the knife. It appears to have been chipped slightly. The tip has been chipped. I think I might have an idea where it could have gone. It's probably this. Oh my! That's a fragment that we found inside Mr. Gary Depp's pipe. I know. I don't think that they're looking for people who can make the English dub for this. But I don't think I can do it since I can't for the lick of myself try to imitate an English accent. If I ever tried, it would just sound so bad. Heck. Think what it is? They fit together perfectly. I knew it, so that's where this came from. Oh, you don't mind my sudden intrusion. This is the shame for your claim to result in nothing but a denial. Oh no, I really appreciate it. You should take a look at this evidence, since you went out of her way to get it for me. Now, with this, you may continue your testimony. Tell us more about those knives in your room. Right now, I can sort of voice act, but I can't. But when it's about accents, I suck. I suck at it. And you already sounded like I have an accent. Well, newsflash, I'm Mexican. That's why I do sound like I have some sort of accent. All that! How could you not notice? Really, I mean it. Carving knives and making freaking gear are my main hobbies. I also make wooden corpses and dabble in leatherwork. So even when we lost a knife, we have plenty more of the same kind. We always buy a nice in bulk when the 21 sale comes around. In fact, we even eat our food with a knife in each hand. I think you might be exaggerating a bit. They're so agitated that their testimonies are starting to make no sense. Maybe they're in denial. They really don't want to believe that it was their own knife that hurt the victim. I understand how they might feel, but very well. Witnesses, continue your testimony. Yes, sir. The weapon was one of our knives, so I want you to prove it with evidence. Take objection! Mr. Gary Death, I could get you to take a look at this. I can't really see it. Huh? Back in the platoon, they called me Hawkeye John, but that was a long time ago. Nowadays, even when I'm reading my favorite book in the fireplace, I tend to do things like mistake the letters BD, PAQ. My word, maybe you should try putting yourself in the witness's shoes, attorney. That does make it sound like you have some knife problems. Just what is this? Some sort of tiny metallic shard. It might be just the tip of a broken blade. It may be tiny, but it's absolutely an important piece of evidence. How very intriguing. Where do you happen to pick this up? It was stuck inside Mr. Gary Depp's pipe. My pipe? When in the world did that get in there? Well, what is the point of presenting this tiny little chart? You can't possibly be saying that it's related to the case at hand, can't you? Psh! Indeed I am. What? If we consider this chart alongside another piece of evidence, I think the truth about the stand will become clear once and for all. I can see that our attorney is becoming very confident in his answers. Now then, defense, I order you to present your evidence. What evidence combined with the standing chart will reveal the truth of this case? Take that! This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look carefully, you'll see that the tip of the blade is chipped just slightly. There are entire hordes of thieves roaming the London city center with shabby knives. A knife as cheap as this one will break as soon as it struck both. If that's true, then the tip of this knife would likely still be stuck inside the victim's body, yes. Objection! However, that is not the case. The broken tip of this knife was this metal shard all along. It wasn't Mr. Gary Depp's pipe. Huh? What's the matter, Lord Van Sykes? This is absolutely absurd. The knife with the broken tip and this shard, they fit together perfectly. What in blazes? I never seen Van Sykes that distraught before. Order! Is this some sort of Japanese black magic? It's no black magic, I'm afraid. On the contrary, one might call it a miracle. Miracle? It looks like even Prosecutor Van Sykes has realized the truth. Attorney, explain the meaning of this immediately. Yes, sir. The gift of what I'm trying to say is probably the exact time that this shark got lodged in this pipe, I guess. That was made clear during the Gyakuten testimony. At the time, I was holding my pipe like so. When I was ejected, a horrible mirage flew out of my hand. Some hard object hit my pipe, knocking it down on my hand. This can't be. The fight between the Gyakuten couple happened at the exact same time as the crime scene. In her rage, Mrs. Gyakuten threw a knife at her husband. Then, when the knife collided with Mr. Gyakaten's pipe and it sent it flying, the knife tip broke off. And then, the shard that broke off of the knife lodged inside the side of the flying pipe. Wow, it's really some sort of miracle. That's the only conceivable way that the shark could have ended up inside the pipe. Then the knife, now without its tip, flew through the open window. Thus, this broken weapon descended from the Gyakaten's home and stabbed the victim in the back. Oh, no way. Oh, hey. Objection! What a decadent demonstration. You've highlighted countless niggling details and proudly presenting the resolved heap of dust. That's a very Japanese trick, isn't it? What is your problem now? Unfortunately for you, your demonstration is nothing more than pretense. If you're wondering why, boot slam! It's because there exists a fatal contradiction in your own assertions. Huh? What? For now, I can say that I'm starting to like Sherlock Holmes a lot. At first, I just found it just slightly annoying how full of himself it is. But in this case, I definitely am liking Sherlock Holmes. Norman Sykes, explain yourself. What contradiction have you found in this assertion? It's honestly very simple. The victim was stabbed in the back by this knife. The back? Ah! Ow! Yeah, that's right. He's absolutely right. What's the matter, darling? You're suddenly so jumpy. Try to remember the details of the case again. As the victim was walking along Briar Road, she was stabbed and collapsed on the spot. If a knife had descended from above within those circumstances, then it would have been conceivable for the knife to land in her back. Ah! Order! Order! Yeah, of course, that's totally it. If a falling knife had stopped her, then it would have struck her in the very tip-top of her head, of course. But... Wow, that attorney really clamped up. So that scene... But that's the truth then? Yeah, it's kind of hard. You can call it logical conclusions has even a single contradiction. Attorney, your demonstration doesn't have a leg to stand on. I was so close to the truth. There shouldn't have been anything wrong with the path I was on. But now the way closed off by a single contradiction. In other words, if we can resolve that contradiction, the path will be clear once more. Susato! Listen up, Naruto. You've just been taken by surprise, and you've turned just a little bit pale. But if you're on the right path, then I believe that there has to be an answer somewhere. Somewhere in the information recorded in the court records. It looks like our Japanese boy has finally run out of rebuttals. There's only one thing that our scientist whispers to us. It says you accepted your own assertions as false. Objection! The contradiction isn't because I'm wrong. It's just another challenge. To make my case, well, even more well honed. You're not wrong. There's no way that a falling knife could stop an upright person in the back. That is, in a normal situation. What? What are you talking about, defense? A certain piece of evidence tells the story. It tells us how a falling knife could end up in the victim's back. What are you saying? What kind of nonsense trick is this? It seems this is the last time I'll have to say this today. Defense, I order you to present your evidence. This is a final contradiction. If I can clear this up, then one final, undeniable truth will remain. Here's the evidence that proves how the falling knife fell in the victim's hand. Take that! The fourth book, discovered on the scene of the crime, explains it all. This is it. This is the final piece of evidence that the defense will present. This burned book. That book was from the Gyakuten home, correct? If you take a look at the photo of the crime scene, it tells you exactly where the book was present at the scene. The victim was holding Mr. Gyakuten's book in her hand. However, if you recall, the constable testified that he placed the book in her hand. That will be referring to when he moved the crime scene to the opposite footpath, yes? About that, Patrolman O'Malley gave us a vital piece of testimony alongside that. But why did you leave this book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, that's just how I found it. When we ran over to the crime scene, the victim was holding on to this book. So when I moved her, I just left her in the same way as I found her, holding the book. In other words, the victim picked up that book by her own volition. So obviously she picked it up before she was stabbed by the knife. That does make sense. When you've got a knife in your bag, that's definitely not the time to be reading. So why in the first place did the victim pick up the book? Oh, I think I know. I think I can imagine the reason why. Huh? We know that this book fell from the landlord's flat on the third floor to the ground. Furthermore, that was almost exactly the same time that the incident occurred. Exactly. They were at the same time. The victim was walking through the foggy London night on the pavement of Briar Road. As she walked on suddenly, a book fell right in front of her. The book that I knew. Mrs. Gyakuten, put yourself in her shoes for a moment. Imagine you were walking along when suddenly a book fell before you. Well, I can't exactly imagine that happening, but I suppose I'd probably reach out my hand and I'd pick the poor book up, of course. And that's our answer. She picked it up. A book fell from the sky in front of her, and of course she reached out to pick it up. What do you think she might have looked like in that situation? Her back was pointed to the sky, completely defenseless as she bent over. And in the next instant, while she picked it up, the knife following the book descended directly into her back. But that's not all. Not far behind, Viridian was another person walking a Briar Road. That would be the defendant, Sosuke Natsume. Oh! What Sosuke witnessed at that moment was when the victim suddenly collapsing on the floor. In that whisper fog, he failed to see the knife falling from the sky. In that case, the constable and his wife wouldn't have witnessed anyone else on the scene. And it's all because there was no criminal to flee the scene. This case is just a tragic incident. It's a result of a chain of coincidence. That's the very truth of the stabbing of Viridian Green. Does that sound right, Gary Debs? When you first revealed that knife, I started to realize maybe that's really what happened. But darling, Joanne, I know whether it was on purpose or not doesn't really matter. What I've done is still a crime, right? I confess to it all. That night, as I was blinded by rage, I threw that book at my husband. And then I threw the knife, too. Dear, you don't have to say it, I know. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, what the? Lauren Sykes, how is Miss Gary Depp doing? She was taken to a bed in emergency care. I am told that the situation is hectic at the moment, but there shouldn't be any problems. Things will calm down soon. Unfortunately, they wrought this tragedy with their own hands. They will need to resolve to stand and face it together. I'm not sure if one might call this a dark clouds and silver lining, but I only to report from the hospital. The victim's on the road to recovery. It seems to be just a matter of time before she regains her senses. We still don't know a thing about her, huh? Still, it's great that she survived this ordeal. Yeah, you're right. And as for you, defendant Sosuke Natsume, yes, sir. On behalf of the Ministry of Justice, I wish to issue an apology to you. You journeyed to Great Britain from so far in order to study in peace. Yet we have only caused you unmeasurable suffering. We're deeply sorry for this. I cannot accept for the one who must apologize is me. Sosuke. That night, a poor young lady had fallen before my eyes, but in my hysterical horror lay before me, I made a terrible mistake. What mistake? I thought the fine lady had died. Well, Patrolman Pat thought so as well. She did seem pretty dead, I guess. It has been a year since my arrival. I was still yet to acclimatize to life in the imperial capital. My days were dismal, as was the spirit of the fog of London, damp and dreary as here he had come. Sosuke does seem like a really sensitive guy. What a poignant image. And it was the same time then, I thought she was bewitched by the very same malevolent spirits. I know that dropping my books and fleeing the scene wasn't what I should have done. I should have done nothing other than call a doctor and notify the police of what happened. As an exchange student, I've dealt a terrible blow to the trust between our great empires. Thus, I must offer my deepest apologies. As far as I can see, the essence of this case seems to be an operation of an interwoven change of misfortunes. Manipulated by this apparition, we were ready to rush to a mistaken verdict. Norman Sykes and you, attorney who voyaged from Japan to the British Empire, you two are responsible for breaking that chain. This was absolutely a model trial. Thank you, my lord. Now, sage citizens of the jury. Yes, my lord. The court has decided that now is the time for this trial to end. We requested your final verdict. Speaking as a foreman, I only wish to arrive at a dignified verdict. The truth is something cruel, isn't it? I don't think this would end with us losing a juror. I stand here now as my wife's messenger. It's about time all can finally get to work, right? This will be a nice story for my grandchildren. Now, jurors, the time has come. Present your final verdicts to the court. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. I will now deliver the verdict to the defendant, Sosuke Natsume. Not guilty! One more thing, defendant. Yes, my lord. You are now a free man once again. Hope you will endeavor to bridge the gap between our two cultures. And be sure that you never find yourself in this courtroom again. Yes, of course. I, Sosuke Natsume, do solemnly swear. I am Sumo. Stop posing! With this trial comes to a close. Oh, substitute. Oh, you mean me? Of course I do. Are there any substitutes here? I wouldn't really know. We've come a long way from substitute lost to not have we? I know, the previous one. Oh my god. I was so mad at the previous one. I was so mad at the previous trial. My god! We've come a long way from so Naruhodo, haven't we? I would have preferred we arrived just Naruhodo instead. Oh, my name is finally absolved of all doubt. You're full of glee. Laugh loud and free. He seems really happy. I can tell since his head laughed. It would be a lot easier to tell he actually laughed, though. Oh, sister, you really done it. You salvaged my life from the rubble. It wasn't me. You're free because you didn't hurt anyone. It's great that everyone else has come to see that, too. No, you say, you got the wrong idea. Dear substitute! Yes? I said this before, but I never could have come to love London. On the roads, I look around and I see only foreigners. The sky only breaks skyscrapers. The birds look down from me from above. They point and laugh. Look at that dwarf. I think you're just imagining that. However, today you have pulled me out of a tiny hole of depression. You stood on the grand stage against those Brits, and you didn't dare retreat. In equal battle, you fought with your words to unveil the truth unknown. When I saw those great fireworks launched at the Crown Court, my heart cried of joy. For good. Mankind is great! We're both grateful to hear you say that. My old friends in Japan will be delighted to hear about this misadventure when I go home. Go home? Oh, hey, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for your tree. Sorry to keep you waiting. I happened to oversleep just a bit. Just a bit? You missed the whole entire trial! My, if it's Mr. Holmes. Whoa, that was close. It looks like I made it just in time. Huh? It looks like the court's about to be in session. I know you got this, Master Naruto. Actually, the trial just ended. What? How? I was such a rush for nothing then? Ah, it's you damn monster. Dear Sherlock Holmes. I'm sorry, have we met? This is Sasuke. You do remember arresting him, right? Oh, that's right. I didn't recognize him. He's always hiding out in this little base, hazing of a flat, or in those those dank little jail cells. What's he doing in a brightly lit room like this? I had no idea who he was. You could be a little less rude. Curse you, the Sherlock Holmes. It's all your fault this happened to me. I got a whole body of things I need to say to you. No, wait. Sorry, I got it now. You must be the man that ran out from that crime scene. You abandoned that poor victim, huh? You taking her to a hospital instead. By now, she probably wouldn't be awake. She probably would have been awake again. No, oh well, I figured it was inevitable for her to end up this way anyway. We're all the same, you know. Something like that is just too much of a fright. I'm honestly very sorry for what I did. Good. By the way, you said there was some other thing you needed to say. No, I suppose not. Oh, I'm sorry. You're just too funny for me to handle. Poor Sasuke. Come on, look at the bright side. What a pleasant experience, right? All for free. And from what I can see, you've been declared not guilty. I'm still not safe. Whatever you mean. I knew it all along. I'm cursed. Cursed by these damnable spirits. And cursed by the Grim Reaper himself. Oh, Prosecutor Baron Van Sykes. I'll never forget what I've heard when that prosecutor is in the court. Even if you're not guilty, you're doomed to a terrible demise. No, Sasuke, you'll be fine. Even if some sort of unruly bringer that appears before us, I, Susato, will not fail to keep you safe from harm. You get a taste of my special move, the Susato Toss. Could you at least warn me before you do that, Susato? For Naruto. So, Sasuke, what are you going to do now? You mentioned going home a while ago. Before long, I plan to go home to the Japanese Empire. Huh? It's been a whole year since I first arrived in the British Empire. Going to university, learning my professor's teaching, visiting the libraries and bookshops, I got to know this wonderful world of literature along with the city I was born from. And I realized that my mission is to teach our empire about this culture. Sasuke, so put simply, you've gotten cold feet at the heart of the Green Reaper's curse, is that right? No, you see, you got the wrong idea. The more I learn about literature, the more these strange emotions well up within me. When I return home, I wish to write something with my own two hands. Really? I'd love to read one of Sasuke's novels someday. Well, you can read one, his most famous one being, of course, I Am a Cat. Because this guy, Sasuke Natsume, is actually a real person that did in fact was in the British Empire in this time period. Huh. So now, Master Naruto and Mrs. Sato, what are your plans? Our plans? Are you going back to Japan with that mustachioed gentleman? Why would we do that? We haven't even been in London for a week now. No, our trip has only just begun. I suppose you've been staying in a hotel then? Yeah, we're trying to find a cheap place to live before we go bankrupt. According to our calculations, our allowance will vanish entirely in about 10 days. Oh, if you like, you're free to take my flat. Huh? Your room doesn't have any windows, right? Yes, that's true. But the floor, walls, and ceilings are all in perfect order. Ugh. And there's more. You'll never be alone because spirits will be there to curse you. Spirits? Indeed, when you're sound asleep at night, a spirit suddenly rings your neck. What a refreshing way to start the day. Yeah. And come on, all these cases are also based on real Sherlock Holmes novels, from what I've read. I need some time to think about it first. I got a proposal for you too. How about you like to stay at my home for a while? Really? You see, our home has a bit of a vacancy. Even if you just be taking the attic. Can you really call that vacancy? We talked it over with the landlord this morning, and now Iris is cleaning it up. You should come as soon as you can. I doubt you have any luggage, right? Oh my, what a lovely proposal. We get to live in the attic of a world-famous detective's home. So many emotions are welling up inside me. He graciously accept. I don't suppose I ever have the... I suppose I never even have the option to look elsewhere now. Alright, it's decided then. Tonight, Iris will be flexing her cooking muscles for a big welcome dinner. Mr. Soseki, you're free to come over as well. I do appreciate the offer. Well, then, I'll be working on the paperwork for Soseki's acquittal. Sato looks so excited. Substitute, I knew I was right to choose you. I'm so glad I could meet someone like you in this foggy city. I feel the same way, Sasuke. It's just sad that we already have to say goodbye. I realize that I belong in Japan. Substitute, one day I swear we will meet again. Of course. I hope I can call myself a full-fledged attorney by then. Perhaps by then, I'll have the ear of a competent author. Alright, you two, our coach has arrived. We should get going soon, Master Naruto. Okay, Mr. Holmes. Hopefully Mr. Sosuke will be acquitted in time to make it for dinner. And so, the curtain closed on Sosuke's trial. The three of us boarded a coach and set off to Baker Street. Today, February, 4:41 p.m. Attic. So this is it. It's our new office. Our own office, huh? I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. It does. This is like a dream come true. Do you see this, Asaki? It's only a small one. But I feel like I've come one step closer to fulfilling your dream. What do you think, you two? Do you love it, or do you love it? Hey, Mr. Holmes, thank you so much for this. And hey, you look quite handsome in there. It's like you come into the room. I'm possibly overwhelmed with glee. That's great. Iris and I are glad you're here too. Come on, everyone. It's almost time for supper. When Uncle Soseki gets here, we're having a big party. Miss Iris, I would love to help you prepare. Okay, then Sissy, you can make the salad. Alright. He's hot! How does it feel, Master Naruto? You established your very own office in London. I can't stop trembling from the excitement, along with the thought of what might be waiting for us in the city. That's exactly how I felt when I opened my own office here. That is, until I came to know of the darkness lurking in this foggy city. Huh? London is praised for being the brightest, most prosperous imperial capital of all. However, as the flame of London burns brighter and brighter, the shadow cast by its light grows into an ever greater darkness. What's that supposed to mean? Well, I'm sure you'll find out for yourself in due time, just how deep the darkness goes. Now, I believe this bears repeating. Welcome to London, Master Naruhodo. At that point, there was no way I could have truly understood Mr. Holmes' words. No, it would be just a short while longer before I would peer into the abyss with my own eyes. The end. And thus the final case, The Adventures of the Unspeakable Story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Oh my god. And I'm certainly liking more and more this game, especially how it gives you so much twists. Seriously, I never seen another Ace Attorney game give you so much twists and turns. And this is just the first game. Oh wow. Oh. I mean, this Paris case was I definitely like this case. Yeah. It is really good. I don't really think so. Maybe it's because of about all the waiting that you have. I don't know. But yeah, the last case will be something that I'll be doing later because it's already getting late here. Yeah. But yeah, I am loving this game. I don't know where it would fit, but I'm certainly going to say this. I definitely don't. It's going to stay just an almost close third alongside with Spirit of Justice as my favorite game. My favorite game of the series still being the Second Investigations. Seriously, how is it that some of the best games don't get released outside of Japan? First the Second Investigations, now this. Ah! And what? It's just because of Sherlock Holmes or what? Like seriously, is it because of Sherlock Holmes? I don't know. Oh, and also you cannot of course forgo the unspeakable truth. This game will get blasted because of all the racism this game has. It could be the racism. Could be both the combination of Sherlock Holmes and the racism. Because this game is... Seriously, there's no way that you can sugarcoat any of this. It's because this game is being accurate to the time period. During a time period where racism not only was common, but you could say that it was also encouraged. Seriously, I never seen so much racism in a game. And this game was released in Japan, and yet there was no such thing as any sort of backlash against it, because again, this about the racism against Japanese, the very own same people who made this game. Oh my god. There's a Disney fix. You don't have to make the whole that Naruto comes from the US. Don't you think that there's the easy fix that at some point in their life that at some point in in Phoenix's lifespan, some part of Phoenix's family came from Japan. You want to say that, how about this? An ancestor of Phoenix actually came to the US and, they come and live there. That would be the only explanation that you could have by having Phoenix's ancestor still Japanese, while of course maintaining the main series in the US. Just say that part of Phoenix's ancestors are from Japan. That could be the only way to go around this. Like, seriously. Don't you think that could be an easy fix? Just say that part of Phoenix's family come from Japan. Yeah, that could work just fine. Just say that Phoenix does have Japanese descent, but that at some point they migrated to the US. That could work. Don't you agree that's the way that could work? Seriously, that's the only way to maintain the localization while keeping this game intact from the Japanese roots. And even then, this game is not set entirely in Japan. Just the first case is set in Japan. Meanwhile, the rest of it, it exists in England. Come on. For now, this game is going to stay Japan exclusive until, I don't know, forever. We're going to have to wait until the final translation for the second case. It could, yeah, because in the US, in England, Sherlock Holmes is already public domain, but the US has a more troublesome copyright problems when it's about Sherlock Holmes' novels. Like, seriously, the US may be the most fickle country when it's about copyright. Especially when it's about something so famous like Sherlock Holmes, which, like I said, it's already public domain in the UK. Oh. All about the monies. And seriously, considering how the series sells even nowadays, they seriously can't afford paying copyright royalties. Seriously, Capcom. Seriously, for all the rest of the series, they can. For Ace Attorney, sadly, no, they can't pay anything for about copyright royalties. They just can't, considering that the series is, well, let's face it, this is not the best-selling series of Capcom's. It is one of their most popular, yes, but it's not the best-selling one. Only the first game is the one that sold the most. So seriously, the Ace Attorney thing cannot afford any sort of payments of royalties. They just can't. For now, we'll just have to wait for the second game to be translated. And trust me, it's going to take years. Just like with every other game that was translated. By that I mean this and investigations too. But anyway, this will be it for my stream because I'm tired. And I'm supposed to get prepared to work now and I'm sweating. But yeah, I enjoyed this and I'll definitely be joining this game next time. So next time I stream, whenever I can, because I seriously don't know when will I ever stream again. I'll see you again for another more Let's Play of Gyakuten Saiban or The Great Ace Attorney, The Adventures of Ryonosuke Naruhiro. I'll be seeing you later. Bye!